Alright, we brought today's deck, which is a really cool way to play some of the new spree cards in Historic. This is a build that you could definitely also play in Timeless, but I've decided that because a lot of the stuff is Historic legal, I'm going to give it a try. Really, if you go to Timeless, I think all that you really get is Dark Ritual, a tutor, and the ability to have fetch lands, which, while decent, is not really going to make or break this deck. This is a pretty cool one, though. It is based around the card Mindsplice Apparatus, a 4-mana artifact with flash that on your upkeep you get to put an oil counter on it. All of your instants and sorceries then cost 1 less to cast for each oil counter on Mindsplice Apparatus. Now, this is pretty notable card design, and the reason why it's very notable is that the new spree cards, when you have their spree options, you are always adding, well, in almost every case, you're adding colorless mana, which means that the discounting of Mindsplice Apparatus will discount the cost of all of these additional abilities. If you have enough Mindsplice Apparatus counters, then the Rush of Dread for all of its spree costs can essentially be for free, and you'll only need to pay 2 black mana for this effect. So we're pretty much just trying to see how we can get really big spells out of our spree sorceries. So Rush of Dread is one of these. Lively Dirge is the other one that can be discounted as much as 4. This one can be discounted as much as 6. And then 3 steps ahead can be a counterspell, a copy of Mindsplice Apparatus, or a draw discard effect. And these are all really good. It's nice to be able to play these effects, but on the surface level, these cards don't do a whole lot. The other half of this deck, I think also, Insatiable Avarice is another one that we have 2 copies of. This one cannot be discounted so much. You'll need to play at least 3 mana if you want to do all of its effects, but, it is still a pretty good card. Now, all of those cards are decent, but they don't win the game on their own. We have to find another way to do it. And what we're going to be doing in this deck is going for a really interesting new combo where Rush of Dread and its third spree target, where target opponent loses half their life rounded up, combos as a 2-card combo with Bloodletter of Alkazats, a 4-mana vampire demon with flying that says that if your opponent loses life during your turn, so you have to not be casting this at instant speed, they'll lose twice that much life instead. And twice of half their life rounded up is all of their life. So Bloodletter plus Rush of the Dead will be able to kill the opponent. Now, this is pretty cool, and it initially kind of seemed like a cutesy combo for me. Thank you, Windows, for interrupting my recording. But it initially kind of seemed like a cutesy way of winning the game, and it wasn't until I actually got some games in that I realized that this is actually really good. Because these things can be discounted so hard with Mindsplice Apparatus, your Rush of Dread can just be 2 black mana. In order to get this part of the combo off. There's also other very good effects that you're getting out of this. And also your Lively Dirge with enough Mindsplice Apparatus triggers is really just 1 more black mana. So what this can end up being is for 3 black mana, you are able to tutor your second combo piece and kill your opponent right then. So really all we need to find is Lively Dirge and Rush of Dread and have a large Mindsplice Apparatus on the battlefield. And so that's how we win the game. And when it comes to the rest of what we're doing in this deck, well, we have some other really good cards to play with Mindsplice Apparatus. Notably, this is going to be March of Wretched Sorrow, a X spell that has a 1 black mana cost at the base of it. Normally, you can exile cards from your hand to pay for the X cost here, but for us, we're just going to get a really big Mindsplice Apparatus and March for a huge amount. Deals X damage, you gain X life, pretty sweet effect. Silver Scrutiny, another good one, allows us to draw a bunch of cards, and you can even cast it as Flash if you only put 5 mana or less into it. And with Mindsplice Apparatus, you can still just be putting 2 blue into it in order to get an X for 3 or less effect. All of these come together to be a very cool deck. We then run Go for the Throat. Experimental Augury is a really cool card. It is basically kind of like an Anticipate, but allows us to also proliferate a counter onto Mindsplice Apparatus, which is really what we want to be doing. And then finally, I think the last card to talk about is Deadly Cover-Up at 5 mana. Can be cheapened down to 2 black. That allows us to destroy all creatures and then potentially Surgical Extraction our opponent's graveyard. All of these come together for a really, really cool deck, and as we're in Historic, the mana base does include the 4 Undercity Sewers, but is basically just a Fabled Passage for the 4 basics, plus a bunch of other good utility lands. The original inspiration for this deck does come from the timeless content creator Can't Be Countered here on YouTube, so go check them out for some cool videos as well. But for right now, we are showcasing Can't Be Countered's Mind Splice Spree deck. Hope you guys enjoy this one, and we'll hop into the rounds pretty soon. Before we get into round 1, though, make sure to like and comment on the video. It helps me out with the YouTube stuff, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now let's get into round 1 and see what Mind Splice Spree has for us today. Alright, it's round 1. Let's hope for a good one here to start off. The way that I typically evaluate these hands is, do they have Mind Splice Apparatus in them? If so, keep. I have a choice with the Fabled Passage to either save it for my 4th land drop or to try to get a tapped land out of the way. Opponent hasn't really gone with anything aggro right now, so I think I will keep it later so that we can keep our land count a little bit higher and hopefully draw that 4th land. We're aiming to get Mind Splice down on turn 4 and then continue on with our game plan from there. Because we are in the Historic queue, often you find a lot of decks that don't necessarily win the game as fast, but do contain very good combos. It looks like we're playing against Enchantress today, and we will actually rip that 3rd land here. Silver Scrutiny can probably go to the graveyard here. I think I'm not really interested too badly in drawing a bunch of cards. And I do have the opportunity to either go for the Throat or march away the Strukai Naturalist. I want to make sure that they can't drop out a lot of enchantments right now, so we will take it out with Go for the Throat. March of Wretched Sorrows are better for us to hold right now, and Rush of Dread plus Lively Dirge is going to be really good once we have Mind Splice Apparatus on. Like I mentioned before, this is these are going to be the 2 cards that we need to win the game once enough Mind Splice Apparatuses have hit the battlefield. So we will pass here, hold priority in their end step as they play a Catilda. Flying, lifelink, protection from vampires. It's the number of spirits or enchantments you control. So this will be Enchantress as we kind of expected it to be. It's just a 1/1 with flying, lifelink right now. We are fine. And it's protection from vampires, so that means that March does work. Alright, Mind Splice Apparatus coming on opponent's end step means that as we move to our turn, we immediately get our 1 counter, and the marches are a little bit cheaper. We actually just draw our 2nd Mind Splice Apparatus, which is great. That means that we get to March of Wretched Sorrow next. We will find a black mana source here. It untaps because of Fabled Passage, and we're going to hold priority on their end step and play a 2nd Mind Splice Apparatus plus March of Wretched Sorrow. And then in about the next turn after that, we should be able to 1-turn kill our opponent. I'm hoping. Generous Visitor coming in. We'll see if they try to trigger that and put it on top of Catilda. We will march for 1, killing her in that case. We will not be marching for 1. I think they're going to make a big Catilda here unless I want to do something about it, and I don't really think that I do. I mean, I could take it out with March, but I think I'll just wait a turn. We can gain back a bunch of life with the Mind Splice Apparatuses. It is totally fine. So on our next turn, we're going to have 1 Mind Splice with, Machiko's Reign of Truth. Now things get a little sketchy. I could consider killing Catilda now, and I think I will. We can do this for x equals 3 if we exile 1 March of Wretched Sorrow, targeting Catilda. And yeah, that problem is officially dealt with. We now don't have any fluff cards in our hands, sadly. Machiko's Reign of Truth, the first trigger, will not be very useful right now. And it only gets +1/+1 till end of turn. We'll drop a Mind Splice Apparatus here and get ready to go. So let me look at the mana here. Lively Dirge costs black +1, right? Because we're discounting 3. This will cost us 2 for the Lively Dirge, +2/+1, so 5 minus 3 is 2 mana. And then Rush of Dread will cost us 2. Yeah, okay, it's going to cost us too much. So we got to wait another turn. We can Lively Dirge, though. We may as well Lively Dirge. 1 creature out now. Let's do this. Paying both. This will cost us a total of all of our 5 mana. We will auto pay because it's discounted for 3 just for the 2. And let's find one of our creatures. So we can find a Shieldred or the Bloodletter. I think we'll probably get the Shieldred right now. And we will bring back the Shieldred, being a problem for our opponent, and then we'll end turn. Shieldred will be mistakenly something that they need to deal with, as this Machiko's Reign only gives a +1. Thankfully, these generous visitors aren't enchantments themselves. And yeah, we're basically just going to surprise them with the combo next turn. Lively Dirge, if you right-click it, will show the original casting cost, and you can see here that it's 5, which on our next turn will basically just be 1 black mana, and Rush of Dread will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Discounted by 5 will just be 3, so we can pay for it all. And there goes Ossification. Totally knew that was going to happen. We'll get hit for 5 here. Calyx is here. Calyx, I need to make sure it is just copying your own stuff, so it's fine. Calyx will hit us for a bunch here, but we will be able to win on the following turn, I believe. Alrighty. Opponent's going to pass here, and we get our counters on Mind Slice Apparatus. And a Fabled Passage to boot. Let's go Lively Dirge with all modes cast for 5 mana total, discounted all the way just to 1 black. We'll grab a Bloodletter of Alkalots into the graveyard, bringing that guy back. And we'll go Rush of Dread here, targeting all of our possible things. We choose opponent 3 times, pay our mana, and opponent has to either deal with the Bloodletter, counter the spell, or face death. Having to discard is not great. Having to sack your creatures is not great, but you will be basically taking all of your life total. Doesn't matter how much of a life gain deck you are, Rush of Dread will kill you. 18 exactly, and opponent is dead. So, got to execute the combo round 1. That feels pretty good. Let's hop into round 2 and see if we can't do it again. Alright, it's round 2. Let's get right back into it. This one does have our Agadeem's Awakening, which I didn't really talk about before. We play only CMC4 creatures in this deck, but it's still worth it to play an Agadeem's Awakening because of Mind Slice Apparatus, making this only cost 3 at most. In this hand, though, it's going to be used basically as a land, and even as is, we're going to be pretty tough on the lands here. I will be able to, if I draw another land, I'll be able to draw into probably my 4th land with 3 steps ahead, so I think I will try keeping this one. It's definitely risky, but we have the March of Wretched Sorrows exiling a Rush of Dread to work with here. Opponent on Zalfiran Void, meaning that we probably have to deal with a Forsaken Monument or some sort of ramp strategy into some big beaters. It's going to be really bad for us if we can't draw some lands. We do get lucky here and do draw. We'll put this in tapped here, aim for 3 steps ahead on our next turn, looking for that 4th land to cast Mind Slice Apparatus. Lively Dirge and Rush of Dread in hand, so as soon as we can get Mind Slice, we are looking good. And then we can counter a spell if it really came down to it, but I don't think we're doing that. Worn Power Stone, you got it. We are not countering target spell. We're going to draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Did not actually find the land, which is not great. We'll drop our 3rd March of Wretched Sorrow. Too many of those is not really going to be the move. And we do draw the land here. That is perfect. We'll fetch here for a swamp, I think. We do have 2 blue mana, so that is good enough to cast what we need to cast. And we will get on over here. So another counter spell is good for me. They have access to a lot of mana here. We're just going to drop this Mind Slice Apparatus right away. Let's just show our opponent what's good. I believe they can just Ugin me next turn, so it would be, yeah, Grand Temporal Gateway, that's a problem for me. Trying to think of what I could possibly do to make things okay. There's really not much I can do. I can Experimental Augury at any time. I can Silver Scrutiny pretty cheaply. Lively Dirge can get me a creature to work with. I want to avoid that, though, because if they Ugin me, I'm going to probably not have a Mind Slice Apparatus. I think we get into a holding pattern here, and I could Experimental Augury, but then I'd probably be trying to find a land. I'm kind of interested in this, I think. If I find a land that's good. Vantress is nice. I think I'm interested in this. We will proliferate. That is huge. And I can Silver Scrutiny for 3. So that's nice. Let's do that. We might get Ugin here. I just have to hope that it's not Ugin or any Haymaker that's relevant. Kind of scared. It's just a Worn Power Stone. Okay. I'm pretty sure we get Thran Temporal Gateway here, and the question is, how bad is that going to be for us? It looks like they're going to wait till my end step here. I will Silver Scrutiny for 3. We'll have Flash, and we'll draw 3 cards. They will activate Thran Temporal Gateway on their end step. It's going to be Avacyn Angel of Hope. Their permanents have Indestructible. So as far as these things go, it does not really seem too bad. We'll draw 3 cards. We have a Bloodletter in hand, which is actually pretty good. Rush of Dread will cost 2 black mana. I think this is just going to come down to how much black mana I have. I don't think I can do this in 1 turn. This is a situation where if I were to have, what is the word? I'm blanking on what I'm trying to say, but if I were to have a Dark Ritual, that's the card I was thinking of, I would probably be able to win from here. So Rush of Dread, I can cast for 2 black mana. That means I have 4 mana to work with, only 1 of it being black. Rush of Dread, well, okay, second can be black, right? So black for Rush of Dread. I can make a second black for Lively Dirge. It's just, do I have enough to make this work? Oh, I do have enough to make this work, right? I think I do. Okay, so I play this for black. I Lively Dirge. 1/2. 5 mana. Auto pay, we want to make sure that we spend as much blue as possible. We get our Bloodletter number 2 into the graveyard, bring it back. And then we Rush of Dread here. Oh yeah, we're totally fine. And then we just choose only this one. This costs 5, we target opponent, and opponent takes 20. Okay, cool. And that's the combo here. We won through an Avacyn through a pretty broken artifact strategy. Unfair Magic versus Unfair Magic is, obviously an even playing field. But we were able to come out on top here, so that feels pretty good. Definitely was worried about what could have come through Thran Temporal Gateway. I think if they had it, their best play is an Ugin exiling my Mind Slice Apparatus, because this deck really needs this to win. But you can kind of see here that with only 3 counters on the Mind Slice Apparatus, we're able to do quite a lot. And the fact that we get one early through Experimental Augury is really, really good. So anyway, round 2 looking just as strong as round 1. Let's go into round 3 and see if that trend will continue. Alright, this is round 3. Here we go. Somehow we're getting really lucky with this Mind Slice Apparatus. Typically I mulligan until I find one, so to have it in an opener like this with 3 lands is nothing short of a miracle. I'm going to start with a black mana source, then decide on the Clearwater pathway. I think it's pretty likely I decide to go blue on that one, and then fetch black off of the Fabled Passage. We have one of our 2 combo pieces in hand already, so that's good. One Bloodletter in hand, that's a potential problem for us. We have Experimental Augury here to look for another land. It's pretty likely we should have Mind Slice Apparatus on turn 4. If our opponent looks like they're playing any sort of permission, I'll have to be very careful about this. They can untap this land. We'll let them have it. Oh, they started. Never mind. Delighted Halfling here. Sure. We'll play our Experimental Augury. And we do find lands here. I think I would like to Surveil. It's the most utility I can get out of one of these lands. Looking pretty good. So that's the second Bloodletter. We're going to have to actually hard cast one of these. Do I need more blue mana? I don't think I really do, but then this is my second out of 4 fetchable lands. I think I'm interested in drawing this. Rush of Dread is the combo piece that I need in hand. So I think if I take this as my draw, Fabled Passage for a black mana source, things are okay. We can even drop one Bloodletter onto the battlefield early, or like early as in after the Mind Slice apparatus. And then even if they deal with it, there should be a turn where we're able to drop Bloodletter and Rush of Dread at the same time. So let's do this. We want to make sure that we still draw lands because we're looking for black mana sources, and then we hold Mind Slice apparatus. Witch King of Angmar is really annoying. That is tough. We are going to have a problem dealing with it. But we will get the Mind Slice apparatus out, so that's good. And I think I just look to soak up a bunch of damage, get my Bloodletter out now, and then kill opponent the following turn. It is completely within the realm of possibility to kill them if they don't do anything about the Bloodletter. We have one blind draw here. It is not what we were hoping for. We will go search out a black mana, our second of 2 swamps. There's our swamp, and we go Bloodletter here, setting up for the following turn. It is questionable whether or not the deck that we're facing here plays removal here, as they are in quite a lot of colors. And looks like they just want to play a bunch of Lord of the Rings cards. Here's Sauron the Dark Lord. It's going to be Sauron the Dead Lord here pretty soon. We don't block. Want to keep our Bloodletter. We go to 11, but it's really about to not matter here. Combo piece on the board. Here is Rush of Dread, targeting opponent to lose half their life rounded up. They do get to Mass Orcs 1. I will totally let that happen. Unless there is some infinite combo that I am not seeing assembled here on the board, we should win. Alright, opponents at -1. We are taking round 3. So far so good as we hop into round 4. Here we go, let's continue the party. Alright, it is round 4, let's get it. So this is one where we don't start off with a Mind Slice apparatus. We are going to give this one a mulligan and see what happens. This is 4 lands with a Silver Scrutiny to boot. It is probably kind of worth it to do to keep this. I am really not happy about it because typically we want to have a Mind Slice on turn 4, and if we don't have that, it's kind of an issue. Going to 5 feels pretty bad, and because we have Go for the Throat, I'm okay keeping 6. Castle Lochthwain does eventually turn into a way to find more things, and here is our good friend Insatiable Avarice, which is going to help us find our card on turn 3. 3 steps ahead is pretty solid. It draws some cards and it can counterspell while we hold up for Apparatus, so I'm excited to be in the situation that I'm in. Conspicuous Snoop, this is Goblins, which is a little scary. They're going to have a Kranko coming up here pretty soon. For that reason, I think I have to just go for the Throat the Snoop this turn. That means that turn 3 can't be used for Insatiable Avarice, but I think in this situation it's pretty worth it. I guess I can Shock, especially if we draw another land in our next 2 plays. Goblin Instigator, that is by far not as much of a problem. Okay, so we have lands. We can go Insatiable Avarice here. We will make sure to draw our good friend the Mind Slice apparatus here, and we do get to play it on turn 4. Albeit while shocking into Watery Grave. They can't quite cast Kranko yet. It's going to be Hobgoblin Bandit Lord as they look for a land. Now this is a situation where we are a little bit tough on life. We have to shock here. And then we hold up 3 steps ahead here. Likely it's just going to be Mind Slice Apparatus and then 3 steps ahead Copying Apparatus because we really just need to get going. Yeah, I think we may not win the race on this one, sadly. Opponent is going to be too quick for us. Historic is a turn 4 format a lot of the times, so sometimes you just got to be aware of that. Shieldred, though, might change that equation here. Another Mind Slice Apparatus is good, but not really what wins us the game here. We go Shieldred, and if we can survive a turn, which I actually don't think we can, yeah, we're going to come just short. We would be able to just Silver Scrutiny for a bunch and gain back the life. Sadly, that's not going to happen here. If they have any sort of land here, this is Kranko into 5 goblins into I am super dead. Let's see if they got it. I mean, they very clearly have it on board. They just have to attack with everything. I can't do anything. I'm tapped out. Should be kind of trivial. So it looks like we'll take the L here in round 4. But other than this, it's been pretty good so far. Can't complain for the way that things are going. This will be the Kranko as advertised here. We'll activate into, I think, about 10 power here. And that will easily be enough to get us. We won't bother making any blocks here. Opponent has us dead to rights. And we will take this one on the chin. Okay, they're pretty wary of something crazy happening. Opponent's got it. I will let them hit me hard. Alright, round 4 in the bag now. We have one final one coming up. 4-1 would be a pretty impressive scoreline to return with for this deck. So I'm pretty excited going into round 5. Let's see how it goes. Alright, it's the last round, 5th and final. And hey, we've got our friend Mindspace Apparatus in the opener. That's a hand that we keep. Deadly Cover-Up is here. Can be cast turn 5 to wipe the board. Hopefully we're in a matchup where opponent can't kill us turn 4 to 5 like the last one was able to. Experimental Augury is one that's probably worth keeping till the turn after we play Mindspace. If we have a land, that means that it will be... we have the potential of going Experimental Augury, potentially finding a land there, going into Deadly Cover-Up, and really being in a great situation. And then we have our 2-card combo here. I will wait a little... you know, I think I'm probably going to Undercity Sewers now. There's a world where I want to cast Experimental Augury on turn 2. Hey, we found our land anyway. So we are completely set up. I think I'll wait till turn 5. It's Dreadhorde Invasion for the opponent. That's a fun one. Definitely not something that I'm used to seeing here. I think this Clearwater Pathway should be on the black side. Ooh, we're even getting a Castle Lochthwain here, so we're going to be pretty good on black mana. We will actually be able to go Experimental Augury into Deadly Cover-Up. That's pretty sweet. Phyrexian Obliterator. We're going to get hit for a little bit here. It is tough, but we'll make it through. We hold up for Mindspace Apparatus here. We get hit for 7, but then we wipe the board. And then we're pretty likely to just kill our opponent after. I think I'm pretty likely to want to kill the Phyrexian Obliterator, that's for sure. Okay, we go Mindspace Apparatus here. Resolves. Hopefully. Opponent thinks about it for a while. I'm wondering what kind of flash spell they'll have here, or instant suit spell. Definitely... I mean, there is... Feed the Swarm, I think, is the one that destroys artifacts or enchantments. Actually, I think it might just be enchantments. So I think this apparatus has a pretty high likelihood of sticking around. Opponent is actually really sitting here for a little bit. I'm almost wondering if my game is frozen. Doesn't appear to be. It looks like they are just going to sit this one out for a little bit. I am really happy with how this one's lined up. We are set up to have a very, very powerful turn next turn. Unfortunately, it may be that it just doesn't get to happen, but you know, it is what it is. Mindspace Apparatus is a really, really good card. I hope that they'll stick around to see what we're able to do with it. And it actually is allowed to resolve finally. I think they just stepped away for a quick moment. Totally fine. We have a blue mana source here to work with, so let's go. And we'll be able to, I suppose, just Deadly Cover-Up, because Experimental Augury, though it would make Deadly Cover-Up cheaper, we don't really have anything else to play this turn. So we go Deadly Cover-Up. I cannot collect Evidence 6, sadly. So that means that Phyrexian Obliterator will stay in their graveyard. But the good thing is that means that we're not going to die. Alright, we hold priority on their end step, making sure that this creature is not able to attack. With 3 Mind Splice Apparatus things, we should be able to win. So we'll just kind of get back in there. Rush of Dread for 2 black mana, Lively Dirge for discounted for 3. So I think a total of 4 mana is all we need to spend, 3 of it black. Definitely something that we can do. Opponent definitely has taken a while on making these plays here. They are not completely AFK because that last turn they didn't end up roping for. Could be that they are really just in the tank trying to figure out what to do, but you know, when you're in these not competitive settings, sometimes people take a bit, but it's totally fine. They might be just here to watch us do stuff. Lively Dirge, Rush of Dread already in hand. We'll take an Insatiable Avarice. We will proliferate, not choosing their things, and we'll move to our turn, get another counter on the apparatus, and see if they have any instant speed effects to make. Looks like not. I think they just have full control on some reason. For some reason, that is. Kind of curious what else was in this Phyrexian Obliterator deck. Dreadhorde Invasion is not a typical card, but it is a cool one. I played when this set came out, War of the Spark, and it was a really, really good one. I remember doing a lot of drafts with my friends. Fun fact, I think I actually won our War of the Spark friendly draft because I pulled the Nissa Who Shakes the World in one of my packs. That was a pretty good one. And I'm pretty sure I just went completely undefeated while drawing her nearly every game. Was a really, really good core memory for me. And overall, I think while people will say that the Planeswalkers were a design mistake in that set, it was a really good time. But anyway, we have the kill on board here. I think our opponent might just end up roping us out to end it off. So what I think I'll do is just cut the audio here, let you guys watch out in peace, skip through if you want, but thank you for being here and watching the video. It's always nice to have some eyes on this little thing we got going here. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Make sure to subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and like and comment to help with the YouTube algorithm. That being said, enjoy the rest of this roping out here, and I will see you in the next one.